Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Rooted Woman Pod. I'm Beatrice, and today I'm sharing 25 lessons I've learned before turning 25. This past year, between becoming a mother and growing in faith and just learning to be, I've realized adulthood is not about just having it all together or, knowing everything, but it's about learning as you grow, right? Like, I think with our parents, sometimes they will, since they had us since we were a newborn, right? It takes a lot for them to keep changing the way that they're teaching us life, right? And sometimes it's not necessarily through your parents you're going to be able to learn some things, but it's just through maybe people that you expose yourself in life, and then like obviously the word in the community that you have, church, your friends, and things like that, right? So, and even through different mistakes in life. But so whether you're 21 or 29, I hope this helps. I hope this just helps you feel seen, and maybe just a little less alone. Because sometimes, it's easy to think that we're the only ones going through what we're going through. But yeah, so I guess the number one thing would be about faith and identity. And I learned that being like behind is a lie, really. Like, God's timing looks different for everyone. Finding peace is more important, and sometimes God will remove you from something or even someone that feels good just to protect your soul. We might be mourning friendships, like sometimes I do, mourning moments in the past, but we don't know exactly what God might have prevented us from. And sometimes you end up realizing it later, right? That, oh my goodness, if I had continued in that path, look where I would have ended up, right? But you gotta keep that thankful heart, and or at least like keep introspective mindset, right? In looking through yourself and understanding what am I doing, and what is God possibly like keeping me from. Learning who you truly are is a skill, and we really need to normalize how to develop discipline for learning your identity and working on it as well, right? We do not talk enough about discipline. We love motivation, we love motivational speeches, but discipline is what keeps you going. And developing that again is a skill that you work on every single day. It's not given, and you cannot take it for granted, because one mishap, you could easily lose the motivation. But if you did build discipline, you will be able to get through it, right? Another thing would be about finances and adulting. That's number two. I wish I learned sooner that budgeting isn't about restriction, right? You start your first job. I started at 16 years old, and you start your first job, you get your first paychecks or your first few paychecks, you think, oh well, I have money now, I don't need no budgeting. But actually it's about direction, right? You, with proper directions, you're able to get to your goals easily. Your credit cards aren't evil necessarily. Undisciplined spending is the evil, right? Again, discipline in everything you do, it's something you build, right? Just because you're budgeting doesn't mean you're restricting yourself. It actually means you have a direction towards your goal, right? You know where you're going. You have drafted it down, your goals. And so with everything, consistency is what will build that discipline, right? And character. And those are just important things. And when it comes to finances, it becomes even more important, because finances is one of the things that help us grow in this world that we're in, right? And Discipline and character can definitely make it or break it, right? It could break even trust in your relationship. It would, just like it could build the trust in your relationship. So, lastly, like, you don't need to hustle every second, right? Rest is just as productive as discipline or as hard work. It's just as productive because you need to take a beat and recharge and then keep pushing, right? It really is important to rest as well. Like, having that mindset sometimes of like, and a lot of the times we see it in our parents where they just work, 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 but then eventually down the line, your body gives up. But you don't want that, right? So you want to have a good balance where you're definitely working and pushing hard, but also resting. And those are really important things that I'm learning more and more about every day. And I will make videos about what I've learned about sleep, nutrition, exercises. Those are things that really help you in your especially in your 20s, because whatever you do in your 20s will show up in your 40s, and whatever you do in your 40s will show up in your 70s or 60s. It's really important to take care of our minds and our bodies in every aspect of our lives, right? Like, in whatever season you might be in, 20s, you're just a teenager, you're in your 30s, take care of yourself. To the third point, which is mental health and boundaries. Learning to say no is not always selfish. And this is something, even now, I still struggle a little bit with, because of the way that you grow up. I'm the oldest daughter of my family, and a lot of the times you grow up and you're I guess brought up to almost like always say yes, and you're always doing things for everybody else, and it's okay, right? Like, it's good. I loved being able to help people. I still do. However, I did find myself at some point in my life where I think I was around 20, or I think I was 20 years old, and I found myself being overworked, and it was not acknowledged by really anybody in my life, right, at home. And and that's normal, right? It's like, if you always had a sister that was, or a daughter that was always doing things, always working and working and working, but never told you, because I also bottled things down within myself, never told you that they're overtired, or they can't do this and they can't do that. I was always saying yes to everything. Can you do this? Yes. Can you do that? Yes. But then I had to learn to also speak up and say what I have in mind, in my heart as well. And that was really difficult. And this is something I'm starting to learn, to really take care of myself, and protecting my peace is, I know it's very spiritual, and you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? I really did empty myself, like, at some point, really, 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 I reached a really breaking point. But thank God, because I really thank God, because with the help of my auntie and some of my cousins and just my siblings, and the love really that I know my parents had for me and my siblings, how much I love them, I was able to just get back to myself and just change the ways that I was doing things. I was able to now speak up to my parents and say, I don't think I agree with this thing, and maybe we could do this a different way. So it's not a given. It's, again, you gotta work on it. Rest is necessary as well. Peace of mind is even more important, as you cannot pour easily overwork your mind when you don't know your limits, right? Rest is necessary, and peace of mind is even more important, because when you overwork your mind, you do not know your limits, and that could end up being it could end up in a really bad backlash. And like I was saying, like, bottling things down, all my emotions, that did not help my peace of mind. It also played a whole lot of, it really, really played around with almost every aspect of my life, really, even my spiritual life. Like, it really did not, it was not cute. But I will give more details about that situation for sure, like down the line. And that's really, it's just, it taught me a lot about how important it is to have a good mental health. But yeah, and then that leads me to like the third point, which is love and marriage. For me, at least right now, marriage doesn't complete you, it actually reveals you. It really does. And being a good wife starts with just being a whole woman, rooted in faith, in truth, and you cannot pray for a healthy relationship, but without working on your triggers, on your own personal identity, because you will get triggered, all right? You will get triggered. Your person doesn't just drop down from heaven. You need to make sure that you are a good partner before asking if you have found the one, the way we like to say, the one. So the more you live with somebody, right, when you're married, that person starts to reveal a lot of things within yourself that you might not have had from your siblings, because they already knew how you are and they adjusted to how you are, or your parents. But that person is new to your life, really. So they're going to see those things and bring them up to you. So you're going to have to be the one to take it in. And obviously, they might not necessarily get everything right either. So take it in, have a discussion with your partner, and go from there. And then accept that you should work on those things and change, And I will speak a lot more on this, because we can easily emphasize on how a man should treat us, how a man should behave, and easily forgetting that we also have duties as women. And one of those duties is submission. It's really important to be submissive to your husband, because at the end of the day, obviously, you chose him to be your husband. I'm hoping that your husband loves you, right? You cannot also get married with just anybody. Make sure that husband loves you and is rooted in faith, in truth from God, right? Because you have to be submissive to that man. You chose him. You're going to have to find a way to be submissive if he's not that great of a man. I'm sorry. But my man is good. And he loves me so much that I find myself easily submissive to him. And of course, it doesn't mean, and I said I'll speak more about it, but here I am. It doesn't mean I'm saying he's commanding, like, go left, go right, go this, do that, right? But it actually means that he can do those things, but in a loving way. He will guide us to a place that our family is going to be good in, and I'm the one to submit, right? And accept that, hey, yes, you're my husband, we'll do this. But yeah, so that leads to point number, I think 5, which is motherhood. And this is something I'm still learning. I cannot say much about that. I guess evolving as my girl grows. And you should definitely be able to evolve in motherhood, though, and not lose yourself, right? But it is easier said than done. Trust me, it really is. Sorry. You can find yourself in a cycle of just forgetting about yourself and not taking care of yourself. But having a good partner is important again, because that's when they step in, and your partner stepping in doesn't mean that all of a sudden he just knows what is wrong, right? Or he automatically can feel every little thing that's wrong going on within you. No, it also means that you are also expressing and communicating with your man and your partner that, hey, I actually need help with this. I need help with that. And that's what it is sometimes. Obviously, sometimes they will see it and be like, oh, okay, baby, let me take the baby. You go get ready. You go do this. You take a walk. From time to time, they'll do that. But it's not every time that will happen. And with social media, we see a lot of those like videos of couples as if they instantly have I don't know what it is. Is it telepathy? I don't know, guys. Help me with this word. They instantly just figure out what their wives need, and vice versa sometimes. But that's not how it always is, right? Of course, they do know you. They'll see signs of like, okay, my wife is tired. Let me pick up the pace. But pick up the slack. But it's not always like that. That's all I'm saying. And I keep learning how strong I am as well as a woman, as a mother, and just how much grace I need every single day. And sleep, guys. Actually, that's something I learned, that a woman needs more sleep than a man. So the irony of that. Oh man. Anyways, number six. Point number six is friendship and community. And I guess this one is quite tough for women, especially. Like, I think it's really hard for women to be like real friends with each other. But I find myself like understanding that not everyone is meant to go with me, and that's okay. Like, community does matter more than just popularity. Oh, I have this many friends, or I have that many friends. And that's not the idea here. You want to build a community. And a community doesn't have to be 10, 20 people. It could just be 3, 4 people that you know, or even just one other person, and you two are a community together, and slowly building some type of friendship that's strong. That with friendship comes a lot of different things to really, because that's another relationship that really reveals your heart and reveals who you are. And sometimes, when it comes to another woman, it can be hard to digest. But again, you might have those thoughts of jealousy or envy, but it's up to you to check yourself and say, hey, snap out of it. This is my friend. I should be happy for them. They're going through this season of their lives. I will be there to support them. And vice versa. That's how you become a good friend. It doesn't mean you're a perfect friend where you are never jealous. That's a lie. Somebody that tells you they're never jealous is a lie, because everybody has a moment where they can find themselves jealous of the other person. But again, the strength is in actually telling yourself, hey, wake up. This is your friend. Like, be there. And it's okay to feel like you're behind. But what do you do about it then? Maybe you ask for help, and maybe try to see how you can support your friend in that moment in their lives that they're living through. We see results of the hard work of people, but we forget that, hey, that result came from a lot of work in the background. But yeah, and then one last one for today's video would be self-development and purpose. And I guess for this one, like, purpose doesn't always feel like exciting. Sometimes it feels like obedience. Sometimes you don't want to do the things that you have to do. Or for example, for us, like, we didn't necessarily want to just pick up and move literally the other side of where we were. But we just felt that with the plan that we have, we were able to see, okay, you know what, this is purposeful, and let's do it. And it's really, another thing would be with self-development is that healing your habits is harder than like setting new goals. Like, it's really easy to just set new goals, but you're gonna need to know that it's important to also heal those habits. Heal fix your character. You're not perfect, but if you think you're full of yourself and you think that, yeah, I'm just this and I'm just that and I can do anything. Sure, you can do anything. However, it doesn't mean that you're doing it properly. So fix your character, fix your habits, check yourself. And having a good partner is, again, important in this sense, because they will speak these to you in a loving way. And also, having good friends, they should be able to tell you where you're wrong, but obviously in a loving way, not just like, okay, we're going to put you down because you're a bad friend or anything like that. But Yeah, so that's what I have for today's video. I will make another more parts of this video because I said 25 lessons. These are 7 so far. And um, if there's one thing that I've learned really before 25 is that God uses like every moment or every seasons, for those that would use that word more often, every season of your life, you know, the hard ones, the good ones, the quiet ones, the very loud ones, you know, he uses those, all those seasons to grow you. So you have to find the lesson in whatever season of life you're in, right? And that's how we learn. And don't take mistakes as just mistakes or bad, you know, take them as moments to learn and push yourself like a trampoline. The mistake would be when you're down for you to get back up, right? The lower you go, the higher you end up finding yourself anyway for on a trampoline. Great analogy. Anywho, I'd love to hear from you guys. What's one lesson your 20s have taught you so far? You can comment below. I love reading your stories and your comments. And if you enjoy this as well, subscribe and share it with someone who is maybe walking through their growth season too, and it could be helpful to them. But yes, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.